One or two people have pointed out the fact that Nigel Farage, in referencing the security issues that he faces or believes he faces, and the lie he apparently told to LBC, talked only of David Amess, not of Jo Cox. And you'd think death is the great equaliser. Well, clearly not when it comes to Reform UK and to party politics. The undiscriminating leveller of all distinctions, death. No matter one's status, wealth, power, or influence, death remains the ultimate unavoidable reality. It cares not for titles, for bank balances, for the length of one's CV. Kings, presidents, company directors will all one day be dust and ashes, lying alongside the humblest of peasants, workers, those who lived in obscurity, Nigel Farage, and who else? Well, my cats. From the earliest civilizations, death has held this peculiar power over human society, and the ancient Egyptians filled their tombs with treasures, hoping to take their wealth with them. Yet all we have today are empty coffers and a reminder that no gold can accompany one beyond that final frontier. Similarly, in the Middle Ages, great cathedrals depicted the dance of death, a macabre spectre with the assurance that death spares no one. Skeletons led kings, popes, commoners alike in an eternal waltz, all equally powerless in the face of that scythe. The scythe of Kronos, the scythe of time. In literature, the game of the theme of death as a great equalizer pervades. Shakespeare in Hamlet brings us to the graveyard where the skull of Yorick, a jester, is found alongside those of nobility, and Hamlet muses on the fate of what awaits us all, pondering that even Alexander the Great's body may eventually plug a beer barrel. This is the great truth. Whether one dines on gold plates or eats from paper, all shall one day rest in the same soil. And the theme carries through to modern times. In George Orwell's 1984, Winston reflects on the idea that all men are ultimately born to die, regardless of how they live. One may be rich, poor, free, imprisoned, but death comes to all in the end, rendering their individual struggles somehow small, almost trivial. And yet this inevitability doesn't have to be grim or hopeless. Death as the great equalizer reminds us to embrace a shared humanity and to choose the inevitable. We're all marching to the same destination, and this fact can inspire empathy, sympathy, care. It urges us to treat everyone with kindness, knowing they too carry the weight of mortality as equally as we do. Death binds us together as nothing else can, a universal thread in the patchwork of human experience. There is nothing more comforting in the equalizing nature of death than recognizing that it is the same for us all, and that it's a journey that we undertake alone. It strips away any pretense, power, privilege, revealing the inherent fragility of all human lives. In a world obsessed with material gain, status, separation, death remains that final reminder that we are ultimately equal. So again, when Nigel Farage lies about the advice that he was given by the Speaker or the Speaker's office or the security people in Parliament, he also lies about the reason. When he cites David Amess and fails to cite Jo Cox, he reveals his deception. His deception is writ large. This is a man who deceives. And in the face of death, he still deceives.